All right, guys, we are here at the Sand Mountain Sizzle Steak Cook-Off in Albertville, Alabama today. Doing something a little bit different today. I'm actually not here to cook. I drove, it's about 2 hours. I took my time getting here this morning. I'm showing up right at 9:06 Alabama time, and I'm going to judge today. So, pretty excited. There's a margarita ancillary, a chicken wing ancillary, and a double steak cook-off. So, I probably won't be judging all four of those. I mean, I guess I'm willing to, but you know, I'm sure they'll have multiple people trying to get in and judge, so we'll see what happens today. I'm going to try to show you guys what it's like to judge. Obviously, there's limitations on what I can do. I can't video myself judging boxes to really show you that, because that would just not be a good idea. It'd probably be against SCA rules, and Danny wouldn't like it. So I'm going to check with Danny and see kind of what I can record and what I can't. I'll definitely do steak selection, maybe some turn-in stuff outside the judging tent, and I'll kind of recap with you guys after we do the judging for each category. So yeah, let's get to it. We'll get to judging. All right, so what you just watched was steak selection. Now, from a judging perspective, it's a little bit different. So, kind of a cook's side of things, we really like to see the whole loins put out together. There are competitions where they're not, or maybe they get mixed in. But if you could see the whole loin from left to right, that'd be ideal. I know things get a little rushed at times, so we put the steaks out. These steaks were really good, nice and evenly cut. Good, probably 1 1/4, a little bit bigger than 1 1/8. But you put them out on the table, and then you got a judge that's holding time. You got a judge that's flipping steaks and handing them to the guys. And then you got judges just kind of helping on the side. So right now we're just kind of waiting until next steak selection. And then after that, we'll start talking about ancillaries, and we'll have our judges meeting. So we'll see, but those steaks, they looked really good. So I think these cooks are really gonna like it. All right, so here's what you've seen so far. We've had a margarita turn in, had some really cool and creative ones for that that you'll probably see or probably have already seen on the footage. And then we just finished wings turn in. I didn't judge wings, but I did get to hit the grazing table and they were very good. I don't think I had any that were just bad. So we're getting ready for steak turn in here in about 20-25 minutes. And I'll be doing steak A and then we'll do steak B.
Mike Kaminsky, King, North Carolina. Team B Extreme, trust in the dust. Grill grates, PK grills, Wicked Pig, Magna Chef gloves, and some other fine folks. This was awesome. Thank you guys so much. It was a lot of fun today.
Congratulations. Right on Key Madison, Alabama. I want to thank all the SCA family because everyone's helped me out. Everyone. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, so let me be honest with you. I've kind of held on to this video for a while. As you can tell, I think that competition was probably a month or two ago. I had a lot of thoughts about the judging process and I couldn't really figure out exactly what I wanted to say. So I'm just going to kind of just tell you my experience as a whole. But you get there, you do your meeting, you kind of pick who's going to do what as far as ancillary goes, because, you know, margaritas, some people don't want to drink alcohol, and so they have that choice. And so the margaritas, we did that one. I think I only sampled 3 or 4, and they were pretty good. And then the wings, I didn't actually get to judge because I judged the margaritas, so we switched out and I went and sat at the table. That was a pretty good job. I got to see people as they're coming in. I got to try most of the wings. The wings were really good. I don't really have any huge comments on the ancillary side because it was just pretty smooth. Everything seemed to go well. There were some really good wings. So when it came to the steaks judging, we had enough judges to where you would judge one steak and then you'd be support staff for another steak. And so the first steak I actually did data entry, and this is where things got a little crazy. Top score for a steak per judge is 50.9. Okay, so that's all 10s and then 10.9 on taste. And I saw a couple of those come through. Now, not many, right? There was just a couple, but I remember literally seeing somebody go from a 10, 10, 10, 10.9, 10, and the next person came in, it was 9, 9, 9, 9.89. So one judge thought it was a perfect steak to turn in, and another judge, I mean, if you give somebody a 9, like 9s like that, you know they're not going to win. So just to see kind of the broadness of how judges were scoring was kind of baffling to me. You know, so I did see that. Now, there was just, I mean, the data entry side was really interesting. The spreadsheet they have is really cool. It automatically populates everything. I'm a spreadsheet junkie, so I really enjoyed that. I actually kind of was willing to do the second steak after I finished judging. I was willing to go finish putting it in, but they didn't need me to. But I really liked it. The biggest thing was just the wide variety of scores. And I wasn't keeping track of which table was doing what, but I did do something. I didn't tell anybody I did this. I might not have been supposed to do it, but I did anyways. When I was doing data entry, you know, I have to wait a few minutes to wait for some cards to come in. And so when the first steak came in, I started a timer. And that first steak, I did it for 4 steaks, 2 per table. And within just over 4 minutes, that steak came to the cut table, was cut. I started the timer when it was cut. Went all the way through the judging process, was closed and put on a table, and was done within 4 minutes for every steak that came in there. I think we were only judging for probably 5 minutes after turn-ins closed. There was actually a lot of downtime where we'd get caught up and people would kind of be sitting there waiting, right? And so I was really, really impressed with that. So you guys just need to know that they're not holding on to your steaks for a long time. Let me talk about when I actually sat down and judged. Now, I'm a pretty nice judge, okay? I'm going to start at 10 just like they tell you to because I'm a cook, and I know if that thing is dang near perfect, go ahead and give me a 10. And so I'm gonna treat other people that way. And so I'm not super harsh on appearance. I'm not gonna nitpick that. Texture, as long as it's not mushy or too chewy, you're probably gonna get a 10 from me. As long as it's not anything crazy, like it doesn't stand out in any way, it's just a good chewing steak. One of the crazy things that I experienced was some of the flavors that came in. So I had one steak that tasted like beef jerky. And I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. It literally tasted like cured beef jerky. A couple steaks that just tasted like they soaked it in Worcestershire sauce, overdid it, and then never even wiped it off, and that was basically the seasoning they used was Worcestershire sauce. And so it was very sour. I mean, it was savory, but it was kind of sour. And then I had one steak that was just so bad that I almost spit it out. I didn't spit it out. I finished it, and then I didn't make any faces or anything. I passed it to the next guy, and I wanted to make sure that I was not crazy because I was first at the table. And so after he tasted it, I actually looked over at him as he closed the box, and he's over there doing this thing. He's like trying to get the taste out of his mouth. There was quite a few steaks that were really tasted kind of subpar to me. Maybe they didn't have a lot of flavor, or they had a really bad off flavor. There was actually a couple steaks that taste like dirty charcoal smoke. Like somebody was closing their vents down too much. You guys have heard me talk about that before. Like they closed their vents down too much and it kind of got that white poofy smoke going. There's a couple steaks that tasted like that. I had some really good steaks, right? But it was just kind of all over the spectrum. And so when you guys see these scores, I would have never guessed that those steaks would have got turned in at an SCA competition. And so don't be surprised when you see low flavor scores, right? But I did have some good steaks, and I judged them accordingly. But I feel pretty good about the way the SCA judging process is. The only thing I could say that might potentially make it better, but it would add a whole nother layer of complexity to it, would be to do similar to the way KCBS does, and you drop the lowest judge. But I'm sure Brett and Ken have their reason why they haven't done that, because it's not probably a new suggestion to them. And so I'm sure that they're looking and they're, trying to make sure they're doing this the best way possible. But the biggest thing is just make sure you're turning in a good steak. Make sure that you're letting other people try your steak and getting honest feedback, because somebody could just tell you it's good and it might not be good. And I'm sure that's what happened to some of those people. But overall, judging is really fun. It's a really, really good experience. Honestly, the reason I do it is, one, I want to know how to judge well. I want to be involved in the SCA in that way to where I become an expert in the SCA. And two, I want to see what my competition tastes like. And so I feel pretty good. When my flavor hits, I feel like I can stand up to anything I've tasted so far. And so go out there, see if you can try it. Take the judging class. It's like $60. It supports the SCA. And just give it a shot. The biggest thing is you will then come to know exactly how it's done, and you'll understand from the judge's perspective what you can encounter and what it looks like. And so that's it for me, guys, this time. I hope that wasn't too much information for you. Other than that, leave any questions or comments. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you down the competition trail.